Christ I can do all. Stand up tall with my left foot, post up on the wall. Easy if we fall in the streets, life can get hard. Streets used to be a lot different from what man recall. Me a aim for my post like a soccer ball. Feel run the road that don't need a map at all. Babylon them want to hold me with a strap at all. But man a liar, me no Cancer nor Capricorn.
Though they want to see me fall, I'm gonna be okay. Though my back's against the wall, I'm gonna be okay. They fighting me now, I'm gonna be okay. Jehovah eyes are watching me now, I'm gonna be okay.
Welcome to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and you may be wondering why he's dressed in this bright orange. Some people say I may look like a pumpkin. But I'm in this orange today because we have a special segment. This is for this. The orange represents those that are incarcerated. And today I'm going to be talking about a young man named Lamar Skeete. He's incarcerated, so this show is about one incarcerated, and we're going to be talking about his conviction over rap lyrics. So I'm wearing this orange just to represent, those that are under the jail system or in the prison. This represents confinement, belonging to the state, belonging to the province. So today we're talking about Lamar Skeete. His rap name is called Ammo. Can we get a picture up of Ammo? Recently, around April 11th, the High Court said they would not hear his plea over. He had a plea over his song role in a murder conviction. So recently he was, some years ago he was convicted, but he tried to fight it, and they are denying his plea. He's trying to fight his case. So we just want to send a video. We're going to play a video in tribute. This is him from jail. We're going to examine this case severely. He already been convicted, but we're going to let the people decide. We're going to let you hear his story and see does it make sense to condemn one or convict one over lyrics. So check out this first video.
This one's called Suicidal Man. Listen, I had a conversation with a suicidal man. He was talking on some issues that you wouldn't understand. I only heard his voice, never seen his face. And every Sunday he sing Amazing Grace. And every time he sang, it gave me the chills. The nurse came every day and gave him some pills. He used to tell me that he didn't want to take them, but they made him feel better. He was mentally ill. 10 years in, still got 15 with life. Told me that he had 3 kids and an ex-wife. She filed for divorce at the 2-year juncture. She need a man to make love to, he can't do nothing for her. Plus she convinced his sons not to love their father. Been 5 years since the dude seen his youngest daughter. He told me when she died it really tore his soul. She was a heroin addict and she overdosed. A real sad story he was telling. Couldn't go to the funeral, the feds wouldn't let him. No wife, no kids, so all he do is stay in his cell, stare out the window, thinking to himself, what the f I gotta live for? Thinking to himself, what the f I gotta live for? Then he asked me, what the f I gotta live for? They found him in his cell, face down with a slit throat. I had a conversation with a suicidal man. He was talking on some issues that you wouldn't understand. I had a conversation with a suicidal man. They found him in his cell, face down with a slit throat.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm looking forward for a call today from Ammo, a.k.a. Lamar Skeete, from prison. He's out in Wake Forest institution. But recently I heard from his wife that the facility has been on lockdown. So hopefully they'll be off lockdown, and I do receive the call. If not, the show goes on. We're going to get into the story. We listened to the song Suicidal Thoughts. That's just lyrics, I'm an artist myself, so I understand creativity of writing bars and getting deep. Some are more violent, some are, for parties, it's different type of music in rap, like different type of styles and different subject matter. Hip hop is a culture. It talks about our life and our experience, whether it's being incarcerated, whether it's having issues with the government, different situations. It's like storytelling, it's like news reporting. So when you listen to these lyrics, I personally, and this is just my personal opinion, it doesn't reflect the company organization I work for, YSM, or TCN. But I just think his lyrics, he's just kicking it like, how it as it is. And that song is kind of dealing with a man who's depressed. In depression, he's locked up in jail, in prison, and his wife left him. Then she died, and his children, she convinced his children not to have anything to do with him. This is the everyday story that a lot of people that are locked up face. When a man break up with a woman, then the woman turns against him. A lot of times they turn their kids against the father, and all the result is depression. And in this song, Suicidal Thoughts, the man just end up killing himself. He said he had nothing to live for. So this is lyrics, this is deep, this is bars. And as we explore this situation where people get convicted, I want us to, and this is, like I said, this young man is convicted already. He's facing 25 years, so he's already under the prison system, but he's fighting, and this show is a platform for them. That's why I'm wearing this suit. And it would be so awesome if when people get locked up in prison and they're sentenced, they give them a suit. They give them a suit, because the idea is rehabilitation, trying to rehabilitate people that are convicted. Not dealing with him because he's wrongfully convicted, but I'm just talking about in general, people that are convicted. Whether innocent or guilty, but you have been convicted and you're locked up. Imagine they get suits, and tie, and they teach them how to carry themselves and articulate and educate. That's what we want the correctional institution to do, rehabilitate. And maybe this is probably a far-fetched, but I'm just thinking like a suit. Give me a suit, build up my self-esteem. We're trying to build them up, even though they're convicted, even though they're sentenced. Being locked up and away from their family, that's punishment enough. They're away. They're away from society. If they are a menace, they are taken out of society and they are in prison. But build them up. When you think of army or joining the police force, there are times where now they separate you from society. And you're like on a campus or you're away and you're under restriction. It's similar to prison. You're on a lockdown. It's not exactly the same, of course, but it's similar. So a man get locked up, give him a suit and tie, give him, teach discipline, make it structural like the military. That's my personal opinion. That's my views. But we are entitled to our perspective, but I definitely want to see improvement in the justice system. But dealing with Lamar Skeete, a.k.a. Ammo, I'm going to read a little overrule of his the report that states the facts of his case. It says a black accused charged with a violent crime writes and performs raps, a genre of music usually associated with violence, guns, drugs, anti-police sentiments, and sometimes misogyny and homophobia. When, if ever, should his musical composition and performance be used against him to prove that he committed a crime? The very issuance arose in this applicant's case. The trial judge led it in part of one of his rap songs, and the defense felt it necessary to bring in more of the songs to give the offending verse context. The Court of Appeals rejected the trial's judge's reasoning for letting the jury hear part of the song, but nonetheless concluded that it was properly before the jury. The moral of rap composers and singers is clear. Be careful what you write and be careful what you sing, because it may come back and haunt you. There's more to say, but when we look at that is true. Be careful what you write and say. It may come back and haunt you. But we should have a right to freely express ourselves. I believe that's in the Charter of Rights in the U.S. in the Constitution. You have a right to express yourself. That's why they have Klan marches and they're not arrested. So I mean, in truth, in perspective, we should be able to express ourselves. I'm not for gangster rap. I'm against that. I'm against using the N-word, because I don't want to use derogatory terms to associate it with myself or my brothers. But people are entitled to their perspective and say what they want to say. And in this now, when you bring a case like this before the jury, there can be biasness or biases. When a person of color, you look at their demeanor, maybe they have braided hair or they look a certain way, and you already have an image negative, and that's why in court trials, they are allowed suits for court, because at least they got that part. One of a young guy that I work with, I call him fam, not a client. One of my fam, he linked me. He called me and said, "Can you bring me a suit?" So I brought him a suit. And when he stood his trial, he was in a suit. So they won't have a biasness when the jury, when they're deciding, because you see him in an orange jumpsuit and you just look at him and say, "Oh, guilty." He looks guilty already. So put him in a suit. So I mean, what I'm saying is there's biases that takes place. Let's look at the fact though. Let's explore other music, other genres of music. reggae. Bob Marley re-sung a song. I forgot the author, so I'm just gonna refer to Bob Marley. But he re-sung a song called "I Shot the Sheriff, but I Didn't Shoot the Deputy." Now, that song can be looked at two ways. You know, for one, you could say he's being charged for shooting the deputy and the sheriff. You know, so he said, "I shot the sheriff. I didn't shoot the deputy." What is he saying now? And this is about interpretation, because when we deal with interpretation, we could wrongly interpret songs, texts. You ever been in a situation where you got a text and you probably got offended when it wasn't meant that way? You know, there's misleading things when you're reading something or listening. So I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Is he boasting that he shot the head man? I shot the sheriff. I didn't shoot the deputy. That could be interpreted that way. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. I shot the head man. Or he's saying, I shot the sheriff. I only shot one person. I didn't shoot both of them. Like, you could interpret a song many ways. So that's what we want to examine. But we got to go to a break. We'll get back into this. Lamar Skeete, Ammo, the rapper. We're going to get back into his story after these few messages. Hoping to stick. Stay tuned.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Tell us about March 30th, 2012.
Oh, that's a very sentimental day to me. March 30th, 2012 is the day that I got found guilty of the first-degree murder of Kenneth Mark.
Okay. So, like I said before, man, I can only imagine what you've been going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to ask you something. What was going on in your mind and in your inside of you when you went upstairs and after 4 days of deliberation, the jury said, we find Lamar Skeete guilty of first-degree murder?
Well, what was going on in my mind was like, wow. Like, I was 21 years old, and I was about to get sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. And I was just like, yo, I didn't even turn 25 yet.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddy Martinez, and today we're dealing with a young man being convicted over rap lyrics. His name is Lamar Skeete, a.k.a. Ammo, for his lyrical ammunition. Verbally, using his metaphors, like a ammo, like a gun ammo, but he's not talking about a gun. I don't want to say that, and I'm misinterpreted as saying he's a killer. He's not a killer. He's a lyrical ammo. If you listen to his songs, Suicidal Thought, and other songs that we will be playing during this segment, you'll see that is lyrical ammunition. I left off talking about Bob Marley's song. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Did he really shoot a sheriff, or this is just a song? Like, we have to be careful how we use lyrics in the context of a charge. It shouldn't be solely based off your lyrics. It should be based off more concrete evidence. As the young man said, he got off of being charged prior. He was exonerated. He was not found guilty, and then later, this person was murdered. Rest in peace to him. I don't, want to discredit them. Sometimes people are victims, family, victim family members, when they lose a victim, they want disclosure. They want closure. They want closure of the case. So they once they say, okay, somebody did it, and they just want to say, okay, they believe it. And not necessarily true, but they want to know that, okay, we found the one guilty of a murder. Of the murder of my loved one. So then, this is to bring no shame to them or their family. Rest in peace. I want to just talk about the context of lyrics. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to pick sides, but I just want us to look fair. He already had a jury, he had a trial, but I want us as an audience, even myself, to just look at it from on a bigger perspective and see if there could be foul play or something wrong. Also, law enforcement at times want to have a closed case. They don't want to have an open case ongoing. There's pressure to solve a case and all these things. So there's a lot of determining factors that make people push and just accuse people. We know through history, a lot of people been in prison for years and found innocent later, DNA and other evidence. And when you're not on a good, stable financial situation in life, most likely you just go to jail. That's the consequences of poverty. That's the consequences of not having a lot of money. So I'm just want us to explore this. And as I mentioned, Bob Marley, I want to draw to a reference to another famous musical artist. We know him as Michael Jackson, the king of pop. He had a song saying, I'm bad, you know it, I'm bad. Now, those are strong words, and it how do we judge, when we hear these lyrics? Is it because he's slim and he could dance well that we don't really take him serious? But he's saying, who's bad? Like, he's saying, I'm bad. Like, this is lyrics. He also said, you've been hit by a smooth criminal. So he's saying pretty much, I'm a smooth criminal. Do we use these lyrics and judge him when he's tried in a situation now where, there's accusation against him? Do we bring the lyrics up and say, he said, you've been hit by a smooth criminal? Or we leave him alone because he sells millions of records, he's famous, people like how he look and how he carry himself, but hip-hop now get a bad name, a bad rep. He looks like a gangster. He's a gangster. He's from a bad neighborhood, so just throw him under the bus. This is what I'm talking about. We want fairness when it comes to trials. We want to look into, the bigger perspective of this whole matter. We don't want to just say, okay, yeah, he said it, so, accountable. Yes, I always tell the young people that I deal with, listen, be careful what you say because it may come back against you. There are rappers that are confessing and saying they're doing things for real, but when they say these things, you follow it up and you see the evidence. We're talking about evidence, a case, and fairness, a fair trial. So at this moment, I'm going to another video. I want you to check it out. Lamar Skeete, a.k.a. Ammo.
Thank God that I'm alive. I'm so honored. Because I could have got murdered on a cold corner. Because the youths where I'm from grow with no order. Fighting the pain I feel when I hear my mom's voice. Fighting for the right decision. Can't make the wrong choice. Redemption song. Words of freedom like Bob Marley. Fighting for the people like Marcus Garvey. Fighting for my life because they try and kill me. Call me a mastermind. Isn't that kind of silly? If it's speculation, then you must acquit them. That's why I'm fighting against this injustice system. Fighting for truth in these serious times. They want to keep me confined because they scared of my mind. Lawyer in the courtroom fighting the case. Judge fighting my lawyer because he ain't liking my face.
Yes. Wonderful lyricism. This young man has lyrical ammo. He has bars. And he's not. And I like his style because he's not even actually like saying what everybody's saying right now. A lot of people boast in things. But he's just talking realness. This what you would call real rap. It's conscious because of the context. Some may consider it gangster because it's kind of stern. But. I take it for what it is. Is lyrical. He have a point. He have a message, and he's just driving it, nailing it, nailing it home. So but the concern is now how do people view this? And I brought an analogy. I brought a comparison to Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, pop and reggae. Conscious reggae, roots reggae. But these are songs now which a person can be convicted on if we want to just go across the boards. But in real life, in our society, we don't go across the boards. We just stereotype, we judge, and we target. So then we'll have a higher level or a higher increased rate of bias, when it comes to now here charging a young man, You know, sometimes we do get in things. Sometimes we do have records, you know what I mean? But because I have a criminal record doesn't mean I'm continuously doing all types of crime and I'm doing certain things, you know? So I want to see a system where it's, you know, fair, I want to see a system where they want to really press for evidence and that we know without a shadow of doubt one is guilty when they're convicted. There's so many people that are in there and they're wrongfully convicted. You know, I spoke to a young lady, a native woman named Joey Twins, and she will be on the show soon. And she was wrongfully convicted, and she did approximately 40 years total. I don't know how much consecutively, but I think over 30 years straight, you know, and she was wrongfully convicted. She goes around to universities and she talk and she express herself. She do a lot of speeches and stuff like that. Her situation was horrible, and she did over 30 years straight, you know. She's native. There's biasness to race, you know, orientation. There's so many things, and so it's not a far-fetched thing. It's not somebody saying, "Oh, this guy's guilty. Just let it be done. Let it alone." Not only that, a lot of guilty people. I don't know how many guilty people are just fighting to the death to say I'm innocent. You know, I don't know of that. You know, maybe there are some do exist. You know, but I'm not really aware of that. But nonetheless, we want fairness. We want to hear it out. But I have a book, and I brought this book out in my first introductory to Hope in the Six. It's called Community: The Structure of Belonging by Peter Block. And this is such a powerful book that I will be using a lot of quotations from it. So at this time, I'm going to read a quotation. It says, in addition to marketing fear, the stuck community. This chapter is talking about the stuck community. In addition to marketing fear, because they talk about media, they market fear. The stuck community markets fault. When there is a human tragedy, most of the energy goes into finding who was to blame. There is a retribution search for responsibility and a corresponding defense from players claiming their innocence. Fault marketing rests on the belief that if we can assign blame and find cause, it is useful for society and somehow reassures that it won't happen again. To me, this is irrational thinking. What is missing here is recognition of the complexity of human affairs and acknowledgement of the paradoxical and the accidental nature of life. There is no issuance policy against the human condition. It goes on to say, community action is aimed at eliminating the source of fear. What we aim at a set of needs and deficiencies in order to eliminate our fear and respond to the neediness of our people. We try harder at what we've been doing all along. We lock down neighborhoods, build more prisons, and reduce tolerance to zero. We call for better programs, more expertise, more funding, better leadership, stronger consequences, and more protection. We are committed to trying harder at what is not working. This is so powerful. I want us to take in the words of Peter Block, you know, the fabric of community. This section is called the stuck community. So the stuck community, you know, where we're not seeing progress in the community on a whole. So we call it the stuck community. It talks about social media, marketing, fear, and a lot of times you see a city will promote more negative news than positive news. You know, there's a marketing strategy. In New York City in the early 90s, there were over 1,000 murders in the early 90s, if not 1990 itself. I think approximately 2,000 murders in that year. You know, but strategically, what the government, the state of New York, they start to redirect the news, the reporting of the negative news and the killing. Because when I was living in New York, I know that people were still dying daily, and we're not seeing much of it on the news. They decided to get more police, so police start policing the communities. Similar to Toronto, they want to get more officers and all these things, and they start to redirect their marketing. So they stop visualizing, showing all the death and all the murder, and actually, through the positive news, guess what happened? We did see a reduced, a decline in crime. I'm not saying it's accurate because I think they tweak things and just to market the city. Is a famous city, one of the most famous cities in the world. So they want to protect their investments. They want to get investors, you know, gentrification. So many things going on. But what I'm saying is that the marketing, how they redirect the news. So now you don't see so much murders and stuff on the news, and guess what happened? What you see is what you believe. So they start to now strategize and not market on fear. My cousin was murdered in Brooklyn. He was shot wrongfully. Mistaken identity didn't make the news. A lot of things that we know in the streets that took place not making the news again. Why I bring this up is because we're talking about marketing fear strategy. A lot of times you hear in the news people dead, murder, and then we're bigging up the murder rate, even though it's still small compared to a lot of cities. And now everybody's in fear, so we could now produce more officers and certain agendas. I don't know the facts towards what the government is doing, so I'm not gonna really jump and say that, but I do want to know, and I do know, and this is known, and Peter Block hit it in the nail when he said the stuck community market faults. He talks about what they do and what they strategize and how they capitalize on fear and also get more money, millions of dollars in stuff like building more prisons. If you build more prisons, that means you're preparing for more inmates. If you're preparing for more, if you build a prison and don't fill it up, then that's a bankruptcy. It's government. There's so much to it, But when we examine this case, we want to examine all factors. We got to go to a break, but I want you to stay tuned. Hope in the 6, Lamar Skeete, aka Ammo.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Ever thought about the thieves on the cross, life that was lost, how they were caught, what did they do, how did they live, when they were kids, how they grew up, who screwed up, was it by choice or circumstance, how they met Jesus, was it all by chance, did they even realize what's going on with the Savior, were the neighbors, what regulated their behavior, one thing I do know, they both weren't innocent. One had a fainting heart, other one was militant. From the outside, we both look the same. But if you get to know me, homie, your mind would change. You judge from the outward, but God knows the heart. If this you understood, you had to change your heart. But now y'all slay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Saying, man, don't play with him, put a nail in the man.
Welcome back to Hope in the 6. I'm your host, Eddy Martinez. Today we have some special guests. Friends and relative, a friend and a relative of Lamar Skeete, his wonderful wife, Stephanie.
Hi. Greetings.
What's up? How are you?
I'm great.
And Jason, a.k.a. Q.
What's going
bless
on,
up,
man?
Bless up. And it's always wonderful to have support, This his story is tragic, and we were going into it, his case and the biasness and how people judge lyrics, I mentioned Michael Jackson. He said, "I'm bad. Who's bad?" You know what I'm saying? He talk about I'm a smooth criminal. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about Bob Marley. You know, he was saying that I shot the sheriff. You know, I didn't shoot the deputy. You know, and I was talking about interpreting lyrics because I shot the sheriff. I didn't shoot the deputy. Is he just saying that I'm a bad man? I killed the headman and that's it? Or he's saying don't try to charge me for two people? It's all about interpretation. Of course. So a lot of times in judges, jury, and you have a case. You know, when you bring lyrics, it doesn't. You could misquote it. You could get it out of context.
Most definitely.
Plenty of times I text somebody and it was, you know, it was like misunderstanding. Like what? You know, because I forgot of or is or you know what I mean. And he's like, oh my god, and you get upset for nothing. Watch is a segment on the internet, Key and Peele, and it was a text situation. And you see how one coming with a knife and ready to fight this guy. And the guy was like, hey, and he realized that he wasn't trying to. He wasn't trying. Oh my goodness, misinterpretation. So I want to just ask you, how hard is it, to be fighting for so long and your husband behind bars? You know, how you feel, as fighting for that,
I actually feel pretty strong. I feel strong, though it's been a journey. I feel strong because my faith, first of all, and because I know he's an innocent man. So that's what keeps me going. Right. Justice. Straight justice, right? Exactly. Hey, what the audience may not know that you was a former cellmate with him. So talk about your experience. Talk about his character. Talk about how you met him in jail, in prison, and With
myself, I met Lamar in 2010. I was doing a bid. I was in jail for a strap for a gun, and Lamar was at the time incarcerated, charged with first degree murder, and what made me really gravitate towards Lamar is that his character. You know what I mean? Like, because when you see a young black man in jail, you're like, oh, another gangster, another this and that. But getting to know him, seeing how smart he was, how articulate he is, and how he just wants freedom. You know what I mean? That's what he's fighting for. And so we connected, we vibed, and I've been one of his biggest supporters ever since, and just checking for him, making sure he's okay. His faith is strong. He's very into God, and just he has hope. He has hopes. He's never gonna stop fighting. He wants freedom will be his one of these days. You know what I mean? So,
right. I spoke to him. He called me and we connected. I don't know him personally, but just vibes. I'm a person that is a good discerner of vibes and spirit.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Character. And growing up on the street, that's a skill that we learn. Like everybody could feel a person and know kind of. You know what I'm saying? But he connected with me, and I'm like, I really, and it's my perspective. Is not like I said, it's not the view. It's not the perspective of TCN or my organization I work for, but I feel he's innocent based on the passion and
of course.
I don't feel like how could he be guilty? You know what I'm saying?
Same way.
But that's my perspective. You know what I mean? We don't want to just like the organization is saying, hey, you know what I mean? But I want us to be fair, and that's why we lay in this case here. And when I heard about his story, shouts out to the street team, Hope Street Team. Aaron, he connected him, said this guy, and he brought it to my attention. I said, let's get into him. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it because it seems crazy. 100%. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of black people, particularly, been in jail, been in prison,
falsely incarcerated.
Of
course.
I played a video. It talks about called malfactors. His metaphors. It talks about the two thieves on the cross with Christ. You know what I'm saying? The two thieves on the cross with Christ. You have. This is the jail system. This is the justice system. That's why I use that metaphor. You have three types of people in jail. You have one that's innocent. Christ was arrested. He was innocent. He was guilty of nothing. You understand what I'm saying? They used his things against him, but he was innocent. So you have the innocent, and you have two guilty people. One of the guilty don't care. He's a thug life, and he don't care about changing. He gonna kill if he get out. Then you have the next one, Guy and Thief, which is myself. That's my rap name. He's the one a second chance. Like remember me. So he have a remorse. You know what I'm saying? So you have three type of people. You have the guilty that don't care. You have the guilty that have remorse, and then you have the one that's just totally innocent. So that's the justice system. You know what I mean? So like I said before, I represent people that are guilty. Like you're guilty and you've been sentenced, and I'm trying to help you back reintegrate when you're facing parole, or if you have probation.
You
know what I'm saying? So I deal with guilty people, but this man is saying he's innocent. I know there's three types of people in prison for sure. So you know what I'm saying? I'm riding on that. I felt it. I read it. I'm looking into his case. He sent me some files. You sent me some files, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wow, this is so powerful. So what's next? What's next for you? Because I mean, I know you guys are riding with him, and y'all so that's for both of y'all. You could answer first. What's next?
Yeah, so unfortunately, though the Supreme Court of Canada decided to dismiss his case, which technically just means like they didn't want to hear it, we have to go about it another way, which is the Innocence Canada program, and just basically Innocence Canada program, maybe hire some private investigators, figure out some new information, some new evidence to show that he was always innocent. When we were fighting for his appeal and like the Supreme Court, the appeal to the Supreme Court, it was more about the case that had already happened and the evidence that they had used against him, that we believe was unfair evidence. And yeah, like we're still doing everything that we can. We're reaching out to all media outlets, different Toronto Star, CBC, Hope in the Six, different organizations to help share his story and let the people know that this is a movement.
That's why we respect so much what you guys are doing. You guys are giving like a voice to the voiceless. You know what I mean? Like I was actually at Lamar's trial. When it was a 2-month trial, went to the trial, and with his case, it's very political. You gotta understand. Like at the end of the day, somebody did die. A mother lost her son. A brother was lost. Rest in peace to the person that died. But with his case, it's so political. It was someone that went told the police, I believe that such and such shot me. Lamar gets arrested. This is Wild Day. Gets arrested. Spends almost 14 to 16 months in jail. Gets acquitted. Brother gets acquitted. Lamar's charges are withdrawn. Right. 2 weeks later, this gentleman is shot and killed. Right. So it's like a witness died. Someone needs to be held accountable.
Definitely.
I'm at the trial every day. And it's like with Lamar, young black guy that grew up in the hood, right?
That's right.
And the way the judge and the crown and the jury looks at someone like that, it's like, oh, you're not a contributor to society. You're not going to school. You don't have a job. You grew up in poverty. Even if you didn't do it, who's gonna miss you anyway? You know what I mean? So what you guys are doing, it's like you're giving a voice to the voiceless. You know what I mean? Because I believe Lamar is innocent. You know what I mean? And I was at the trial and I've seen the tricks, little things they do to convince the jury, persuade the jury. So we're just happy that we could continue to fight for him. He's never gonna stop fighting. He's very faithful, very strong, and we just love what you guys are doing.
Well, that's what the show is about, is to bring a voice to those that that are in the jail and those that are coming out. You know what I'm saying? Because even when one is guilty, what next? Do we just forget it? You're guilty, so your life is over, even though you're coming back to society and you paid your debt.
That's what
so
happens.
we try to help everybody, and we connect with lawyers. We have so many people. So I'm gonna connect with my lawyer connections or whatever, and let them take a look at this case and see give us more knowledge. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the fullness.
Of course.
In the U.S., I believe it's called double jeopardy, where you tried twice for you know what I mean? Like when you use evidence for what he was. I think that's illegal in America. So I don't know if it's illegal here because they used it, but we want to examine that more. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have money, you know what I mean? Look how many famous rappers that have been locked up and got some serious trial. They have money, and next thing you know they're off. So I mean, when you poor, one songwriter said to be poor is a crime. Shouts out to Freddie McGregor. To be poor is a crime. You know, I mean, for real. Like it's sad because that's reality. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But we're gonna fight. We're gonna go to a break and come right back. But y'all stay tuned. Keep watching. Hope in the Six. Y'all tell me what y'all think, viewers.
Hope in the Six.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to support and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge, uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network.
Stephanie Skeete, Lamar Skeete wife. Jason, aka Q.
What's going on, brother?
Bless up,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
a cellmate, and a friend, a good friend of his, a young man that been on trial, been there for him. He's riding with him. You know, he been in. You know, when you're locked up, you know, like you share a cell, you kind of go. Either you become good friends or you gotta, you know,
make a bond with it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in jail,
So
you don't really bond with everybody, right?
Right. So there's, you know, but he's here to, you know, to support. I love when families come out, you know, because sometimes people, you know, I spoke with mothers at time when they said, listen, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Even if they get guilty or innocent, they can't bear this too much sometimes. You know what I mean? You know, so it's very hard, but it's good to see support. Shouts out to all community members that are supporting them. Talk about the shirt. You know, have this Lamar Skeete shirt on.
Yeah, so we have these T-shirts that we were selling last year, free Lamar Skeete T-shirts. So we had to raise money because legal aid denied the funding for Lamar Skeete to go to the Supreme Court of Canada or to apply to the Supreme Court of Canada. So we're selling the shirts for like $40. Right. And we're able to, you know, come up with a few $1,000s for his case and towards for his lawyer fees.
Yeah, all proceeds go
towards his defense.
How do they support? If they want somebody want to support now, what do they?
So if they want to support, they can visit Lamar Skeete on Instagram, or you can hit us up on email, freelamarskeeteinfo@gmail.com. And just send us an email, send us a DM, and we'll be sure to get back to you.
All right. I'm just going to read. I read his letter last week on my last show. The week before. I just want to read something, you know, because I want his voice to be heard too. And y'all probably wondering why I'm looking like a pumpkin right now. I don't normally dress like a pumpkin. But this orange represents the incarcerated. You know what I'm saying?
You're fresh.
I always talk, I'm fresh.
Yeah, I'm fresh. You're fresh.
Thank you. So I was like, orange represent the incarcerated, and we talk about a correctional institution. We want them to correct for real. So instead of putting a jumpsuit on a man, give him a suit. You understand what I'm saying? Like they're locked up already. They got cells. They got bars. They got restrictions. So they already gonna punish. You know what I'm saying? Give them a suit. Get a book. Like teach them. Teach those that are incarcerated. Like they're gonna come back to society one day. Do you want these people that are committed murders and all these different crimes to come back to society not prepared?
Not change.
Exactly. You want them to come back to society and the community to be threatened again? Let's change. You know what I'm saying? So this is representing. This is in honor of Lamar. You know what I'm saying? This is my first episode with somebody directly in prison. You know what I'm saying? So I wear this. I normally throw on a jumpsuit at a certain segment and read letters from guys who write me and stuff like that. But this I'm wearing this orange through the whole show just to honor him. You know what I'm saying? Honor him. This man is incarcerated. This is his voice. Let him come out in a suit. You know what I'm saying? Rehabilitate those. You know what I'm saying? All across the board, whether they're guilty or whatever. Rehabilitate. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna read a little small portion of his letter. You know, I know that his facility was locked down, so he wasn't able to call. But it's all good. I'm gonna read his voice. You know, it says, the fairness of my murder trial was undermined when the trial judge allowed the jury to hear evidence of an attempt murder charge that I have already been proven innocent of. That's his voice. That's him saying it. As well as inviting racial stereotypes in the courtroom, allowing the jury to hear lyrics from Live from the Dawn. You know, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, if it's if anything he said that kind of incriminated him and is leaning towards some serious evidence, then we have something.
100%.
But I mean, if it's not, if we say snitches get stitches, does that mean I shot the person?
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying? That's there's a code of the streets and there's a language. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of people say things. It doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna do it.
100%,
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
I don't know how you grew up, but you know, a lot of times children say, "I hate my mother" because of just she did something or she disciplined me real hard. Man, I hate my mom. But do they really hate their mom, or is it an emotion of their immediate situation? Does it carry on? No. Like it's sometimes so if I'm gonna say a song and it's probably aggressive, it's probably the emotion I feel right now. But it doesn't literally mean I'm gonna just jump up and punch people.
Of course.
How many of these rappers are really going around killing people?
Exactly.
I mean, then we would have no society. Then everybody dead. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And how many shooters do they really have?
Exactly. It's true.
Everybody's saying they have shooters. How many shooters do they have? Like, I mean, it's just like it's metaphors and it's figurative speech.
It's art, right? Artistic expression.
And a lot of people. It's all right. A lot of people rap and they just, you know, it's stories, it's lyrics. It doesn't. You can't condemn me. You know what I'm
like I was actually incarcerated with Lamar when he made this track Live from the Dawn, and I remember saying to him, "Are you sure you wanna?" Even though the track is basically just talking about things that are going on in jail, right? Things that he's seen.
Right.
So with the line where he says, real niggas don't crack to the coppers. Like you have to put it in its proper context. He's talking about jail, talking about people getting attacked, people getting your friends backstabbing you, just things you see in jail, not getting your meals. And so with that life, real niggas don't crack to the coppers. In jail, you have rules. You are not allowed to talk to the correctional guards about I want to leave here and go and crack a range and go hang with my friends. We say that's not real. Right. You can't want to crack and
that's right.
Go. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It wasn't about I believe that if you talk to the police, you should be killed, and that's what the Crown used, and the judge allowed the jury to hear that. So it was really biased.
I also believe, like, regardless of what he said on the track, whether it was that or not, and whether there is rules and jails that apply to what he said, it's artistic expression at the end of the day, and it should have never been used against him or anyone. For a matter of fact, like whether it's a video or a song.
Like the first lyric in that whole rap was like, "First time in the dawn, okay, don't be a fool. Sally Bart crack straight to the back and read the rules." This is all jail context that he was talking about.
But the reality of things though, so a lot of people talk this whatever, and then somebody pull up on them. Say I'm saying, yo, Mark, if I see you on the streets, is on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see him on the street and nothing happened. Like people just says, they say things. There's so many things that dictate, what I say. You know what I'm saying? People are the product of their environment. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily mean I'm guilty. So we're gonna wrap up, but I want to read this thing because it's confirming what you said, right? It says one of the form of retributive community conversation is the story we tell ourselves about who we are. The story we tell ourselves about who we are. Getting clear about the nature of story is important in appreciating the power of the existing context, especially in those places where history and past seem overridingly restraining, right? Sometimes our history, coming from this, growing up in poverty, it kind of restrains us from moving forward, right? Storytelling plays a noble and a historic role in our lives and in society. Stories can give us a narrative to guide and instruct us. Stories, rapping, lyrics, music. They are crucial to our knowing who we are. They provide a sense of identity. Some stories, however, become the limitation to creating anything new. Some people are stuck. You ever heard the phrase ghetto mentality?
Of course.
Of course, right? So Werner Erhard has been so insightful about this. We need to distinguish between the stories that give meaning to our lives and help us find our voice, and those that limit our possibilities. The stories that are useful and are fulfilling are the ones that are metaphors, signposts, parables, and inspiration for the fullest expression of our humanity. You understand? A lot of guys that I link up in jail and prison, they're rappers. That's all they have too. They're not ready for society. They're not ready, job ready. So it's so much, but I work with them. I'm not gonna say they don't rap. I'm gonna say, listen, what I say is tap into your creativity, man. Explore.
And it keeps you sane.
Yeah, but that's all they have. It's that pen and that pad. That's how hip hop was born, through poverty and struggle. Sometimes that's all they have, and they're only gonna express what they know. It says going down, it says, there are communal teaching stories, creation stories, wisdom stories, and personal stories that have a mythic quality and even come from a person sitting next to me. So sometimes, like, I'm rapping about street life, but it's not really me. It's my brethren. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm associated with it, but it's not even me. So, I mean, when people that don't have no understanding of this genre, it's better to get a hip-hop expert in.
100%.
You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
We're going to try this guy, get a hip-hop expert in there, and let them bring the case. So we're going to have to find somebody, you know what I'm saying, that can now,
100%.
Probably look for Karis One or something.
It's real.
No, but real. We gotta get somebody now, an expert, because a lot of times they have forensic experts, ballistic experts. Let's get a hip hop expert if you're gonna talk about it. 100%. How you gonna bring this case? Because
so we can explain to these 12 members of the jury who didn't grow up in
who don't understand it. And a lot of times, I'm referring to New York, coming from there. When police kill people unjustly, they go to the suburbs and get the jury.
You understand what I'm saying?
So guess what happens? These people coming from a whole different. And they're gonna say, okay, yes or no. They don't understand the dynamics. So I want us to understand the dynamics. I'm gonna go into one more video, but I want to read this last statement from Lamar, aka Ammo. It says, even though I am wrongfully convicted for using rap lyrics, I refuse to stop fighting. I will kick reality and poetry for the children of Israel until I die. Rap is my passion. Should he be good? Should he be convicted for his passion, for his lyrical expression? Hope in the 6. Thank you guys for coming.
We
Bless
appreciate
up. Much
you.
love.
We appreciate you. Eddie.
Bless
Thank you, Eddie. Hope in the six, man. They're doing big things. We love
so
it.
we're going to go to one last video from Lamar, a.k.a. Ammo, and we're out. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Be blessed. Let positivity go viral. Hope in the six.
Blessings.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I'm gonna be okay. I will fear no evil, that with my rod and my staff. I'm gonna be okay. Thou preparest a table before me in front of my enemies. I'm gonna be okay. Thou anointed my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. All on my shoulder, I'm a soldier, Lord, I told you. Run with Jehovah, so nobody can test. Every day of my life, I'm blessed. Yes.